has to kind of expect it and should have some sort of answer.
Feel like though, you think of JackeyLove, you think of those very aggressive AD carries. We saw him during the Demacia Cup when he was on the Jinx, the Aphelios, hell, even things way back when, you know, when he was on IG with the Draven. Ziggs doesn't scream JackeyLove to me, and this is going to be a very curious style that JackeyLove is going to have to adopt with all of these different AD carries now being banned away. Leona going to be the pickup here for the side of Rare Adam. They're looking to try and find something that can just engage, can just get on top of your face, and they may look to either pick up their jungler here or look to pick up a AD carry. Either or is fine in this moment.
I think jungler makes the most sense here. Obviously, you know, the Ziggs is already picked and is likely going bot lane. There's no pressure to take your AD carry here. But maybe the thought process is they did such a good job answering the Lee Sin last time. Maybe they feel like Leyan's happy to take counter pick in this situation. And if a jungler is picked up by top esports, you have that third pick on red side, punchy counter. But Tian, you know, we saw this come out of the Demacia Cup. He got that Viego 3 games and dominated with it, so I feel like it's a comfortable one to go back to, and it scales well, right? That's the thing. If Lee Sin gets matched on his ganks and isn't able to engage late game, he doesn't offer anything. But all Viego has to do is get resets and be pretty, you know, pretty farmed up, and he's comfortable to be a massive factor in the game.
Yeah, I think the big thing here is that I feel like Tian is slowly becoming a Viego one trick. Didn't have a great game on the Lee Sin. Has proven time and time again that he is exceptional on this Viego pick. And right now it is going to be Rare Adam saying, look, we know you only have 2 bans left, so we're happy to take our mid laner here. Strife was exceptional on that Corki and, you know, really just did everything they needed it to do from the long range rockets. And yeah, honestly, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Keep what you got going for you.
And honestly, this is a pretty heavy poke composition from Rare Adam. Because, you know, if you've seen the new Kai'Sa build, where she goes more heavily in AP, there were some changes that basically meant she got more for cooldown refund on a W when she's got that upgrade, the evolution. And so between her and the Corki, if it is iBoy going that more AP heavy build, that's actually a dangerous amount of poke. It really forces top esports to have a very reliable form of engage to start things off. I like the Syndra being taken away because not only does it provide a lot of threat in lane, but also has that pick opportunity. And top esports go for the Rek'Sai ban. I'm not sure it was going to come out here. I think it was a very specific pick in the last draft. And also it's the fact that, you know, Jarvan and Xin Zhao had kind of been taken out of the pool last time. But either way, they clearly haven't played against enough Rek'Sai in competitive recently to want to deal with it. So they will just take that one off the card.
Yep, if you don't want to deal with it, just ban with it. You know, you don't have to think about if it's OP or not, but they are going to ban away the Sylas on the side of our Adam. Zoe still available. We saw the Victor from Knight last game as well, so see what he wants to go for in response to this Corki and what the final ban is going to be. You still have the Xin Zhao, the Lee Sin, the Jarvan, which you mentioned as well, so honestly, there's so many options here for Rare Adam to go for Leyan. I feel like their draft is exactly what they wanted to get. They've got that hard engaging bot side. They've got so much poke coming out from the Corki, and they still have counter pick for top.
Ooh. Jack's gonna get taken away, so potentially something that can cause a lot of issues for things, you know, like the Gwen, things like Camille. The Jax can be problematic. So I guess they were kind of expecting a jungle pick to come out here, and then potentially the last pick top from Cube, which is, you know, what you'd expect in this situation, right? You already know the enemy jungle. There's no reason not to pick up a jungler here, you would think, and it allows Cube to have that counter pick. So potentially eliminating one of the potential threats in that role. We are going to see the Lee Sin come through, so that early pressure being provided. Also a solid source of disengage with the kick if we do come to a later game situation where top esports are looking to engage. And Victor is kind of the thing that you think in this situation, but again, we saw range be an issue in the last game. We saw Victor being unable to get up close and personal, so might have a similar issue here in this one if it is picked up. For now though, we'll see what Zoom wants to take. Looks like he might actually end up going for that tryndamere.
Yeah, locked and loaded. We saw it earlier today for Sandbox versus DRX for Dove in that top side. Now it's going to be TES going for it now, and that does give you a little bit of flexibility depending on what you take. If you take the Gwen here, you can alternate between the two, but I would expect to see the tryndamere mid and with the Gwen up in top side. So now, Rare Adam, where do you want to go? What do you want to put Cube on that can deal with either of these threats?
You know, honestly, Jace probably going to do fine into the Gwen, and also on top of that, the poke from the side of Rare Adam is just disturbing. It is so hard to deal with, and I think the thing is with top esports, once again, you're in a situation where you have to find backline access, you have to find flanks, you have to approach from different directions. But they don't have that much engage. It's kind of just like, hey, Gwen, tryndamere, just run at them. you know, and I guess you do have the Nautilus, but he's very much single target engaged, so not the ideal in this situation. This is definitely a composition that, you know, has strength in the 1-3-1. If they find these sort of split up team fights that are able to flank, it's going to be good. But I feel like Rare Adam, you hit the mid game, you get the poke items, and that's them. They're happy to sort of lean into this one a little bit later, as long as the carries are strong. But they're not really going to have as much threat on the bus side of the map. You know, Ziggs can just clear waves pretty endlessly once he gets his back early. Tryndamere can kind of ignore the poke for the Corki, and once you hit that level 6 point, that's where things become a little bit precarious, because if Corki is pressured, then you can just look to dive him on repeat, right? You have the ult for the Tryndamere. There's not very much you can do against that one. And now we're actually seeing a flank come in. Leyan might be in a bit of trouble. He does back away, and I think they get the impression that it is a heavy invade.
Get the impression it's a heavy invade. JackeyLove gonna respect the fact that he doesn't have vision on Zorah or iBoy, so he's gonna go the long route here, but he doesn't know that there is a ward in that brush, so he's just keeping himself safe. He knows there's nobody there now, but oh dear, JackeyLove, it's gonna be a little bit close. The flash forward, they get the Xenoblade down. There is gonna be the blast cone to keep him safe. I still think a flash for an AD carry off a flash of a support is still worth it in the long run. iBoy tried to dodge that bouncing bomb, but doesn't get it. Knight now gonna get first strikes. They will stop the vision going down. They're trying to delay this one as much as they possibly can, waiting for that Glacial Augment to come back up. They're going to go in, try and just go for something here, but Zorah goes a little bit too deep on this one. The spin to win coming in here from Knight. The red buff is still proc. The red buff is still doing damage. Like a fifth man here for Top Esports. What is going on in this early game? There's going to be a smite fight, a smite war to try and get this first blood. It does not go over to Top Esports. They do not get level 2. They do not get anything from this. The red buff isn't enough to bring down Tian. It is not. But first blood to RA, and they get the red buff. Oh, this is disaster for Top Esports, but revelations for Rare Adam.
Yeah, and honestly, Zorah, a lot of confidence there. And the big thing is, all the damage went onto him from the other side, right? Every time he goes in, the enemy team all focus him down. Whereas on the other side, Rare Adam, they were kind of splitting the damage pretty heavily. And initially, that often doesn't work at level 1s, right? You want to kill someone, you don't just want to chunk everyone. But even though Zorah got low, they didn't finish him off. And Rare Adam spread damage so well that Top Esports quickly realized they weren't going to be able to fight this. And I love that early level 1 invade, especially with the changes to the Scuttle Crab, right? If you want to hit level 4, you have to do every single camp on your side. You have to do a full 6 camp clear. If you do 5 camp into Scuttle, you're not going to hit level 4. So by denying just 1 camp from the enemy team, Leyan has now meant that Tian is in a bit of an uncomfortable position when it comes to hitting those levels that we love to see from a Viego.
Knight, this is exactly what we expected from this mid lane as well. He's already used this ghost to try and get a kill off on that fight. Wasn't able to get it, so his early pressure of ghosting on top of it, you know, the Corki is just not really going to be able to get it. Tian is farming up towards this top side. There is no flash on JackeyLove, so he has to be a little bit safer. I imagine he took his satchel charge second to make sure he could keep himself alive and safe. And this is a matchup where first strike is going to be so powerful for Strife. I'm going to have to keep an eye on it, exactly how much more gold he ends up getting in the head, because it will just start to escalate very quickly.
Yeah, you can just get so much free gold with the Tryndamere. Knight doesn't really care in terms of health, because you'll have Second Wind, you'll have Doran Shield. He essentially, like, you know, especially the Gatling gun, you proc and hit him with it, and you end up losing. He ends up gaining more health than he lost, but in terms of the free gold, Strife is just absolutely cashing in. And we see Tian in this position where he's cleared his top side, cleared the Scuttle. Kind of not really much else he can do, because he wants to challenge, he wants to invade and try and steal a camp back. He is looking for Leyan, but won't find him. Will just back away and playing things very safe.
He doesn't have priority in top, doesn't have priority in mid, needs to just respect the fact that he could just get jumped on, no flash available to him, and no Heartbreaker either, as it's too early in the game. He would be in a very dire position. And this is the questions we had for Top Esports. You know, like, you look at some of these names on paper and they are just exceptionally talented, you know, from the eyes, I suppose, of the average viewer. But Tian didn't look exceptional during, you know, Demacia Cup. We wondered how he would be coming into the regular season. Zoom hasn't really looked on the same page as the rest of his team, and it just feels like, yes, on paper, this team is individually all fantastic, but they're just not quite making it work. And it will take time for this team to really make it come together.
I mean, that's the crazy thing. The Demacia Cup was working. Oh,
here we go. There's the satchel. Yep. He's dead. Zorah's dead. There's nothing you can do. The satchel was used. They're going to actually try and just delay this one as long as it's taken them a long time. They wanted to give it to JackeyLove. They will eventually get it to him, but took a little longer than most. But yes, back to my point, it does feel like sometimes Top Esports just aren't exactly working as a team.
Yeah, and it's just interesting because in the Master Cup, we saw them be successful, right? And definitely there were some inconsistent games, but for the most part, they came out on top and, you know, won the whole thing. But the meta shifted a lot, and I think the TP changes in particular for coordinated competitive play really changed so many things. And it was such a unique situation where we had such a big change come so late, not even in the preseason, right at the end of the preseason. And bear in mind, the teams didn't get much practice. It was only a few days between 12.1 going live and the start of the LPL. So the meta is likely going to shift, and we're going to see teams trying to adapt and overcome these new changes that have just shifted things so heavily.
Yeah, it was literally this time last week, 12.1 launched, we went live on Monday. So it was 4 days of practice, you know, to try and get yourself an idea of what's going on. First Dragon goes over to Rare Adam, and honestly, this is the big thing when it comes to patches, when it comes to part of the League of Legends game, is that if you're quicker off the mark, if you're quicker to figure out what's good for you and what works for your team, that could mean a win or two. That could mean a couple of series. And we see now an engage in the spot side. Zhuo is going to take a little bit of health damage. They do get the stun down onto JackeyLove. He'll take a lot more. The Ignite goes down. He's forced to flash again, pretty much straight off cooldown. He loses that summoner again. And now with Leyan on this bot side, they're going to see if they can maybe go for something underneath this tower.
Yeah, and I mean, bare minimum, Leyan being there means he can zone away Tian, and it means that JackeyLove's just going to have to reset. He does have the TP, so not too big of an issue, but you can see the threat there if Leona does manage to gap close. And the Glacial Augment, we've been seeing a lot from the Leona, because even if you hit your E, even if you're not able to get on top of the target because you're interrupted, you still have that slow field that allows you to catch up and land your Q, stun them down. So Zorah, you know, a lot of praise for Zorah. I wasn't too impressed with them. Seeing him in the Demacia Cup, he's one of the other new additions to this roster who came up from Rare Adam period, which is their second team, but he's looked much better in this series, really being aggressive and finding these windows.
Really nicely started as well from the RA, you know, making sure they don't have the same issue twice, as we now see level 6 hit by Knight, and straight away Strife saying, look, I gotta play it respectful. I can't really just sit on top of you now and get those first strike procs anymore. And we can see there already Zorah just walking around saying, look, I'm here. Don't worry about it. Get yourself some of the CS, and don't be thinking too much if he goes all hard in on you. So right now it is still a pretty decent start for RA. Top Esports will have options available to them, and Zhuo trying to see if he can make some of those plays now as he roams into mid lane.
And both spots moving up. Herald is spawning pretty soon, and the top priority, you know, we could see Rare Adam look towards that one if they wanted to. We see pings coming out, so it looks like they will. Tian's not even on that side of the map. And big thing to note, right, is we had that early invade, and that has meant that Leyan is level 6, Tian is level 5. And it's such a massive spike for both champions that I really feel like Top Esports can't contest at this point in the game. Leyan is going to take that blue buff away. Cube's looking for a bit of a fight here.
He is looking for a fight onto Zoom, and to go into hammer form and just get himself to the skies and then knock back. I think if Zoom would have been in a little bit more trouble had Leyan pathed up topside, but calculated that it wouldn't be needed. iBoy is level 6 now, so it's just roaming up towards this mid lane, and you can see both these teams, they're starting to pseudo posture right now for this dragon, or sorry, for this Rift Herald. They want to try and get at this, but it's going to be about which support gets level 6 first. Both Zorah and Zhuo, excuse me, are very, very close to hitting level 6, but not quite there just yet. Yeah,
and there's something sort of world where I think it was Damwon who let their support take a full wave mid to hit level 6 at this point. Now these teams have done it here, but a big factor is we now have a level 6. Oh,
they're not level 6. They have the package. Tian has to flash over the wall. He has got the Heartbreaker, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive. He doesn't even use it in the end, and that's going to be the Rift Herald. That's another kill. RA are just reading the play. They're calling TES out and saying, we can play this better than you.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Tian now has that level 6, that huge power spike with the Viego available, but instantly RA look for him. And the big thing is Strive having the package allows for that easy engage. The follow-up is there. You have the long-range poke. Tian is taking out extremely quickly. And honestly, in longer fights, he is such an important piece, right? If you start to get resets, Zoom and Knight both have Ghost, so that will reset duration in the longer fight. But then once Tian starts using his passive, starts getting those resets from kills, that is where you find the longevity. Here, if you take him out quickly, it's just no chance. And he's split from the team, spotted on this ward, and look how they instantly move over. Zorah finds him, the package comes down. Yes, there's a flash over the wall, but just chased down the entire team there to pick him off, and it really feels like that was good setup from RA and a bit of disrespect from Top Esports.
Yeah, and the thing is with the package there as well, you know, mini rumble equalizer, you couldn't follow up through that choke. You couldn't follow as top esports to say, okay, look, we can, you know, get up that ramp and, you know, punish the overextension, because you're just walking onto about a third of your HP dying. So Zoom already taking a lot of pressure in this top side. He's not going to have his mist anymore, so he needs to back away. And that's 2 plates here for Cube in this top lane. And this game is already 1,500 ahead for RA. RA are really putting Top Esports to the sword. What do Top Esports need to do to get back into this?
Honestly, I feel like Top Esports need to find a fight where they can approach from multiple directions and RA get a bit overconfident, a bit split. But other than that, like, I feel like RA have a comfortable comp to lean in the late stages, right? Once we hit that mid game, once we get that huge amount of poke potential coming out from the likes of Cube, from the likes of Strive, we have iBoy. If someone ends up low, he can easily follow up on them. It just puts them in such a precarious position. And Top Esports, you know, they don't have that great of an engage. They kind of need RA to be in a position where they can sort of close down on them. I do think once a couple of items on Zoom and Knight, they're going to pose more of a threat. Potentially a 1-3-1 is an option, but for now, things are looking pretty dire.
Yeah, flash over. They're going to get the full CC down, and Strife is dead. He tried his very best to get out of that. He flash failed over the walls, so sadly not able to get that one. But while that's all been happening, Rare Adam do have advantage in bot side, as Zhuo did move up to mid, so they will take themselves a second dragon. It is going to be a Chem Tech dragon, so Chem Soul, which means a lot of questionable vision now available or not available for both sides. Oh. God, my God, like, that's literally 5 minutes. It's literally 5 minutes since the last time he had his flash. He has to immediately use it off cooldown.
Yeah, honestly, Zorah just does not like to hold on to his flash for any length of time. But Chemtech's an interesting one, right? But we'll have a look at the replay first before we get into that. This is just simply Strive being a little bit disrespectful without that vision. And Zhuo using that Nautilus. Not the greatest AoE engage, but single target lockdown absolutely does it. And yeah, that flash, a little bit of a whiff.
Yeah, a little bit of a whiff. And speaking of whiffs, Cube gets heartbroken down, so he's going to get taken out. And now Top Esports are making the plays. They're being proactive, like you wanted to see them do. You wanted to see them moving around this map, using odds numbered skirmishes to their advantage. As they start to move back into this game, we are going to see Leyan with the Rift Herald go bot side. They are being spotted, so they know that they are at, at a disadvantage, because this is the TP changes coming in. You can have their top laner TP in, but you cannot TP in yours.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, I think Top Esports felt so comfortable there because of the Ziggs, right? That's the power of the Ziggs. You threaten a dive, he's like, the wave's gone. Another wave coming, oh, it's also gone. And I might look for this. You can actually just solo kill him.
Yep, straight up, this is going to be a solo kill right now. JackeyLove just not really able to go anywhere. Oh, as I say that, good satchel charge. Keeps himself alive, but now he has to leave this lane. He can no longer stay here. Rift Herald gets dropped into mid. He's going to give 2 plates over to the side of Rare Atom. They'll spread evenly between the jungler and the mid laner. So just kind of keeps this game a little bit ahead there for Rare Atom, but they are in a little bit of issue. As I say, that Zoom needs to back himself away. Should be able to just dash over the wall. No problem whatsoever. And that's going to be Cube just delaying his back even further. So we actually might see Cube take the tower now, because the turret plates will be falling off in 30 seconds.
Yeah, he should be able to get it here, or at least chunk it down. The wave might be a little bit late here to get the full tower. But on the other side, JackeyLove finally getting access to the bot lane tower, something that Ziggs always wants to do. Will get a lot of damage down, but I don't think has enough time to fully take it out, especially with iBoy there to defend. So I see too much done in terms of those, just a couple of plates picked up. But I think Top Esports to make the right calls, right? Playing things spread out, looking for picks. We've seen Tian getting some momentum on this Viego. And again, resets in the fight, super valuable if you can find them. Yeah, I'm just gonna look for Knight, but I mean, it's a tryndamere, right? You know?
Yep.
Yeah, ambitious.
He did what he wanted to do. He just took a little bit of a CS advantage. And oh, actually, as I say that, Leyan gonna have to kick back Tian. Does not get hit by anything else. He just kind of walks away. They will secure that blue buff over to the Viego. Does have to use Smite at the end as the Shock Blast was coming in. They will use the Blast Cone over the wall, but Accelerated Gate is there to keep him safe. And that means bot lane will go pretty much in favor of the side of Rare Atom. There's no TP available for anyone on Top Esports to answer for that, but 4 people going to be on this top side. They're really trying to see if they can punish Cube here. Zhuo walking up, see if he can land a dredge line. They're going to have Leyan not get hit. Now gets stunned up just a little bit more. They might be able to turn this one around, because while that's all been happening, Zoom is just happy PvEing against the turret. Ends up just being a trade of sides. The top turret for a bot turret.
Yeah, and I like the lean coming in. Knight easily able to find priority, and it's just because, simply put, Drive is scared of him, as you have to be when you're playing against the Tryndamere. You just have to play such a sort of scared play style, back away at any opportunity, and it meant there was that threat leaning towards the top side. Zhuo had come top to sort of assist, and the thing is, bot lane, they're not even able to get the tower because of the Ziggs, right? Ziggs is so good just being put in a solo lane alone, and now they're feeling comfortable to expand out. And this is kind of how things will go on the later stages, right? You have JackeyLove in the mid lane on a Ziggs. He can wave clear for days. And in the side lane, you have the Tryndamere. Anyone going up against him likes to get run down. On the other side, you have the Gwen, who is a similar threat. So Rare Adam looking to prioritize this Herald. I don't think Top Esports are going to want to fight this role resetting. That's completely fine. But they've established their lane assignments for how they want to be longer on. And the more they take towers, the longer these lanes get, the more it favors the Tryndamere, right? More favors the Gwen. These champions with Ghost, the power of them is that in a long lane, they can just run you down and there's no real getaway.
Yeah, big move there from Rare Adam, recognizing the fact that if Top Esports contested them at Rift Herald, they weren't going to be able to reset in time for this dragon. It would be the third dragon of the game for Rare Adam, so Top Esports, in my opinion, making the slightly more higher odds decision to say, look, we don't care about Rift Herald at this point. We care about the dragon stole point, so we're going to try and contest at that. They will have pretty much all summoners available to them, at least all combat summoners available to them. Won't have the TP on JackeyLove or Zoom, but while this is all happening, we can see now that Rare Adam are trying to see if they can get a little bit more control. This tower should go down without, you know, basically an auto attack and a satchel charge from JackeyLove, but he doesn't want to risk getting too close to the tower. Everyone now moving in. The dragon is live and has been started. They're going to drop the Rift Herald into mid to try and create some pressure. I don't think Rare Adam are going to be here in time. And with that chem fog, it's just so difficult for you to walk in. You just don't know exactly where everyone is. Flash forward, the hook lands, but you're a bit by yourself there, Zhuo. You can't really survive all this burst, and he will fall. They flash in. They're going to try and stop the Gwen. We can see now that Zorah does go golden himself. Now he can try and keep himself alive. It's a fight on two fronts. Is now the Corki is trying to keep himself away and alive from this Tryndamere, who flashes over the wall, gets the crit down, and will be able to get that kill as well. It's then all said and done. It's a 4 for 3 in favor of Top Esports.
Very aggressive engage there from Zhuo, but the follow-up is eventually there. The Ghost champions, Knight and Zoom, able to chase down and clean up these extended fights. It's only iBoy who survives on the side, and they end up losing out on the dragon. And that was a big win condition, right? Pemtech Soul, the strongest in the game by a pretty wide margin. Honestly, they were able to secure that. Could have meant so much, but two critical things. One, Rare Adam needed to set up and apply poke, right? You need Jace to be landing these big shock blasts to chunk people out. That's how you find advantages to move in. And secondly, they need the package. Something I praised last game was Drive had his package synced with the dragon, right? Every single dragon, he had a package available, and that meant they were just super heavily favored in those fights. This time, however, he didn't have the package available. It means you just have no clear route to offer all that pressure that the package typically applies. And Zhuo, you know, literally trades his life so his team can engage.
Trades his life, and you can see there Zorah did the exact same thing. There was a fight kind of on two fronts. It was JackeyLove, and you can see iBoy, he doesn't really know what he wants to do. He's kind of hemming and hawing. Do I go back onto JackeyLove? Do I try and help my team? And that little bit of indecision does end up meaning that they don't really get as much as they possibly could. They kind of trade down a little bit, I suppose, depending on how you look at the mid lane turret and his priority over a dragon, but it is still... And whoa! Tian? What happened?
I don't know, but he ain't here anymore.
I mean, yeah, he's dead now, but yeah, and it's little things like that. JackeyLove, he doesn't have flash, and there's Zorah. He's on the backside. Ooh, okay, misses out on one, but it does not matter. They should be able to clean up this quick kill. Now it's a 4v3 soon to be, as we can see now. Zorah does get taken out, but they're taking out the Nautilus as well. 4v2, can the Tryndamere and the Gwen do a lot? Yes, they can. iBoy flashes away. That undying rage is just so good at baiting in those fights, and Zoom is getting pretty big on this Gwen.
And that's the scary thing. Those extended fights, Knight and Zoom are just such a massive threat. They will run you down. And there's just no tools to deal with them on RA, right? You have the CC for the Leona. Leona had already gone down. You have the kick from Leyan, wasn't available. And so as a result, even though this looks favorable for RA at the start, it does fall off quickly. And
no.
Not sure what the game plan was there. But as we get the follow on, they collapse on the JackeyLove, right? Jungle already dead. JackeyLove gonna follow, but they commit such a large amount into this situation. All the mobility used by Rare Adam to get in a range, and that just means easy pickings for Knight here. One dash, he's in range of the backline. They obviously can't kill him, and he just keeps running and running and running. Doesn't end up chasing iBoy down there, but it's that threat, right? The tryndamere is such a massive problem, and this is why I think the poke was going to be such an important element for Rare Adam. If you poke top esports down so they can't even fight you, that's where they would win things out. But now top esports feel a lot more confident, and the chem tech map is such a problem, right? Because you can't even tell who's flanking you when there's a tryndamere or a Gwen sitting in the fog. And now you can see Knight actually finds Cube, will back away, but just dips back into the fog. And if there's something more frustrating than tryndamere, it's tryndamere with stealth.
Yeah, tryndamere with stealth, and Navori Quickblade's picked up alongside that Gale Force, so he is just critting and critting and critting. He's just doing so much chase down, like you mentioned. Minute till Dragon spawns. It's still a third potential Drake for RA. Would be a second for top esports if they are able to get it, and that just helps out, you know, someone like this Gwen, someone like this tryndamere to be able to get that extra, you know, maximum health, or excuse me, current health percentage damage onto these, you know, big tanky members. So it's going to be a curious fight to see how it ends up being turned out. But for Rare Adam, they have options. They have, you know, ways of making this fight work for them. If they can get JackeyLove caught out, if they can continue to just find these odd number skirmishes, they can just force the issue and work as a big 5-man unit.
Absolutely. And I think a critical thing is landing from that early poke, right? If you chunk out members of top esports, that's going to be an advantage. We do now see Strive has the package synced up with the Dragon. So it does have that one available. That makes such a massive difference. A big reason why Corki is also so good in this matter as well is that having that package for every Dragon when there's such high priority, when you have things like the Chemtech Dragon, makes it a lot more difficult to fight. Remember, a lot of melee champions on top esports, that package, that burn, makes it hard for them to approach. But look at this from Zoom.
Here we go. Zoom trying to get in. He's going to find Zorah, but he doesn't quite find anybody else. He'll pop up with his needlework. Nearly kills Leyan. So that's going to guarantee the Dragon. They will find Zorah, who does get a good ult down to try and keep himself alive. They're trying to jump back on top of this. Knight now has to back himself away. He will pop his Undying Rage because he was about to get popped by the Kai'Sa, who went straight onto the backside. And what happened, Leyan? You got caught out. You didn't need to go back in. And that's going to guarantee another Chem Dragon going over the side of top esports. It's only a 1-for-none, but you can see the wheel turning back in favor of top esports. If they're able to get on top of these carries, like you mentioned, there's just not a lot Rare Adam can do.
Yeah, really nice flank from Zoom, and they just had to instantly back away and disengage. And the thing is, they weren't able to find that poke once again. They were threatened back, and you saw Leyan saw a window to re-engage. You saw that kick opportunity when the top laner and the mid laner had been punked out. So initially we get Zoom approaching, right? They just have to disengage. Zorah's running away, throw the CC down, keep moving, keep moving. Leyan nearly gets blown up. And then this is the situation where things start to go a bit more RA favored, right? We start to get the poke coming in. We start to see Knight and Zoom both chunked out and backed away. And so this is where Rare Adam are like, okay, we can go. Leon's like, it's hype time. I'm going to find a beautiful 3-man kick, but instantly gets jumped on. Zhuo played that perfectly, didn't give him a window to escape. And then they're able to back out after taking the jungler. They now have equalized those dragons. And that is so important when it's a Chemtech soul. Because honestly, if a team gets that, especially, I mean, either team, but especially if top esports, imagine a tryndamere who you can't kill, and then when you finally can, he comes back, right?
Yeah, he just becomes full revive.
Not a fun time, not a fun time.
No, it is not a fun time whatsoever. But with the pressure they have in bot and in mid, you can see now Rare Adam going to start up this Dragon. They will take a lot of work to put in this one, but Knight has been spotted out, so they know they can't go for it. They don't gain anything else out of it. They just test the water a little bit. They're going to miss the dredge line here from Zhuo. Bit of poke coming out from JackeyLove as they pop down a little bit of a dredge line to try and set up this fight. They will get the kill down. And look at iBoy. He just can't go anywhere. Gets himself over the wall and kick back to keep himself alive, flashing away. Everyone's just on their full retreat right now. Good shock blast from the side of RA and Cube to keep this damage a little bit even, but already top esports starting to turn the wheel, starting to get themselves on top of these carries and make life very difficult.
They just keep running at them. That's all they have to do. Just run forwards. And it's like, you know, Zorah tries to stop them, but he just ends up getting taken down. And then they keep charging. And then Rare Adam escape. And they're like, okay, let's throw some poke in return. And then top esports back off. And that's how these things have been going back and forth. And it just feels like top esports are constantly threatening to just run them down, and so much respect has to be given. We see similar situation here. Joe's running forwards. We see top esports once again Zoom in a bit of a flank position, and the Leon is just a sacrifice because no one else from Rare Adam can step forward. iBoy tries to step forward and nearly pays for it with his life. A kick from Leyan to get him away, and basically everything used from iBoy gets him out. But oh, I mean, this is a horrific position to be in.
They're going for it. They're going to try and burn this one down. 2,000 HP. It's going to be Zorah trying to sacrifice himself. The Baron will be taken. The support will be sacrificed. iBoy just trying to see if he can keep himself alive. Maybe trade this one back. He will not be able to. And now Leyan in a lot of trouble. The Heartbreaker over the wall. You can see him. He's not quite able to get over to the ward to hop himself away. The Heartbreaker back on top of him. And he will fall. You get out with only 2 of your Barons. I don't know if that one's worth it, Chief.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit of a rough one. You know, I respect the call, honestly, is all I can say. Because personally, if I'm up against this Tryndamere, this Gwen, this Ziggs, I would not want to be trapped in a Baron pit. But they make the call, finish off, quickly escape over the wall. But Leyan kind of went the wrong way on that one. They needed to just get out as quickly as possible. I really feel like they could have gotten 3 Barons alive out of it, and then I would have said it would be worth. But at this point, I think Top Esports are perfectly happy to have taken 3 members for that Baron. So I mean, this is when it gets pretty scary. So once again, Zorah sacrificed to keep him away, and you see instantly 3 members jump over, and then Leyan kind of hangs around a bit and goes the other direction. And I'm not really sure why. I think he's thinking, oh, maybe I can save iBoy. Maybe iBoy is going to 1v5. It's not realistic. Kind of meant they sort of lost out on that play, but either way, it does pay off to an extent. It could have gone a lot worse for Rare Adam. They got the Baron. At bare minimum, that means Top Esports aren't going to have it. You see the ult coming down, putting a lot of poke down, and once again, Rare Adam trying to push forwards, but look at the flank.
They see him. They know he's there. Dragon spawning in 50 seconds. That's going to be the next point of call. You can see Top Esports saying, look, we know you have to be in this little area. We want you to be all grouped up as 5 to try and get this one going for you, and you're not able to use your Baron buff in a split push. You're not able to make this one work for you. The blue buff will be transferred over to Strife, who has pretty decent items right now to do a lot of damage onto the back line should he need it. Even goes back and picks up a crit cloak just to make sure he is able to put out as much physical damage as possible. And now Leyan is going to try and sneak himself around, puts himself on the other side of the wall. They don't know exactly where he is, but they have an idea that he's somewhere in the vicinity. And now he's been caught out. Tian is going to jump straight in on top of him. He will ward jump to safety. Bot lane is going to be pushed back, and the poke can now come in. Knight will heal up that damage, so not really a big deal. JackeyLove takes a chunk, but not exactly exceptional damage either, so not being one-shot by the accelerated shock blast right now. Zhuo needs to be a bit careful, though, as the Dragon has been started. They're looking to try and see if they can take him. That's a great solar flare onto Zhuo as they try and just burst him down. JackeyLove gets away. The Dragon goes over in favor of RA. They're now on soul point. The fight has sort of started, hasn't really gone anywhere just yet. Zoom needs to get himself backed away. They're going to jump on the Zorah, who gets killed off, but they have killed Knight. Knight is dead, as well is the Nautilus, but they've traded back, and now iBoy jumping straight in onto the back line. Zoom goes golden, but against 2, there's nowhere for you to run. They still have 2 Baron buffs, triple kill for iBoy, and most importantly for RA, they get themselves the Dragon as well.
And they might actually just look for the end here. There's 3 alive. All of them do a huge amount of damage to turrets, and the massive spawn timers for Top Esports. RA might have just done it. This might just be the 2-0 to start up the split.
One big fight was all RA needed. They got Top Esports into a bad position. They've kept the minion wave alive. The inhibitor goes down. 13 seconds until the Tian has spawned. They've got a couple of seconds left onto this Nautilus, but he will not survive very, very long. Nexus turret number 1 does end up falling. Nexus turret number 2 is next to go. They're going to focus down the Nexus. Cube goes in. He's got the shield, and now the rest of Top Esports are alive. They're going to get one more. iBoy tries to keep himself alive. One more auto attack will do it. No! They haven't done it! They haven't done it. Less than 100 HP, and they weren't able to get down the Nexus. Top Esports survive.
You know what? I'm going to say it. That was the right call from RA, because, you know, they won a fight, but they had lost so many. They saw the window, and it was so close. So close to having it. One thing to bear in mind, though, they have 2 TPs in the bag. They could potentially look for this play. Top Esports is going to take some structures in return. They do have a Ziggs to make it fast, but I don't think they have enough time to take anything more than maybe just 2 towers, maybe an inhibitor on top of that if they really want it. But I think they'll take that first tower and back away on a knife's edge. RA saw it. They saw the win, and they so nearly had it.
One more auto attack from anybody. It wasn't like it was a support and like a tank top. These are 3 massive damage dealers just trying their very best to just kill this off. And the heroics from Top Esports, they stay alive, but they're on life support, Ox. They have nothing left. They can't even leave their base.
Yeah, I mean, especially what's really scary is, like, TP with a package or something, but we can have a look at how close this was. And actually, Cube was tanking the tower there. I don't think he needed to tank the tower. I guess he wanted to do it so they can hit it before the minions arrive, but if he was healthier, maybe they could have got it. There's always ifs and buts. Whenever you look back when it's one auto away, you're like,
80 HP.
You think about all these tiny little micro things that could have been different, that could have made a difference. At the end of the day, they didn't get it, but well, it was close.
Ox, I'm glad you're here. Your first full-time cast, and this is what you can expect now for the rest of the year.
It's enjoyable. I'm liking this.
I'm glad you are getting the proper initiation into the LPL ranks, because this is exactly what we want to be seeing. But now,
heart issues, is that what we're going for?
Yeah. Heart issues and lack of oxygen to the brain sometimes. But like this is now, even though RA have not won the game, and yes, it is still like a heartbreaking moment for them, Top Esports can't do their game plan. They can't run around with this, Gwen and Tryndamere combination, because if they leave their base, they could die. They could just lose the game. They cannot move forward the way they want to, which means they're just being pegged back all the way into their own base, which just enables RA to get more control of the rest of the map, more control of these objectives.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not even just about someone backdooring. If just one ward gets placed a little bit too close, Strive could TP in with a package, fly over the base wall, and just end the game, right? It's still, as much as the Nexus is going to heal, it's still so low. There's double TP available. It's so precarious. It's got a decent amount of health now, but if you extend it out to go towards that Baron, if there's a ward you hadn't swept and he's able to get behind you, it makes things dangerous. So Top Esports, a little bit of knife's edge. The Baron's secured by Rare Adam, and it's a minute away from that next Chem Tech Dragon. This would be soul for RA if they could get it. It's such a massive power spike. This dragon is so insanely broken. It's actually got nerfs scheduled for next patch, like massive nerfs, because it's so powerful. And once again, Strive has synced up the package with the dragon, so this is probably going to be the big fight, right? If Top Esports can win this one, it's late enough in the game, they may just be able to end if they get to enough of an advantage. Bare minimum, they stop Rare Adam from getting the soul, but if Rare Adam win this one, they get the soul, but I'm not sure if it'll even matter. If they win this fight enough of a margin, they can just end this game.
Strive's going for the end. Strive is going for the end. So this is a big thing. Top Esports have to fight for this Chem Soul, because if they don't get it, everyone can just literally pile in on the Nexus and kill it, because even if they die, they respawn. So that's the big brain play.
Look on the map. They're pinging out those wards in the blue side jungle. You actually see pings coming out from the side of Rare Adam.
Top Esports can't contest this.
Thinking about using them. Yeah.
They can't contest this, because look at the two TPers. They know that they're going for this. They're saying, look, we know that as long as we are not on vision, you have to respect that we can end the game. Free Chem Soul. They still kept the Baron. They still kept themselves on the package as well. They will have to use it very, very soon. But honestly, RA could just run up and end the game. They don't have to care if they die, because they respawn.
Yeah, I mean, it's 5v10 now. If you kill them, they'll still end.
Well, the Nexus has almost fully regened all its HP from 80 to 100. From 0 to 100, they've got themselves all the way back to the top. But now, you have to go one last fight. Here we go. They're going to try and end this one right here, right now. It's going to be Leyan going down first, but he's got himself the Chem Soul. They haven't got themselves onto the Nexus just yet, so they will lose 2 people, but they can't end the game. Top Esports found exactly what they needed. They got out when they needed to, and that's going to be 2 quick kills, but I still don't think Top Esports can leave their base.
It's still precarious. They need the inhib back up, but I mean, they kill Leyan. Leyan respawns, they kill him again. Now he's just dead twice, I guess. Zorah too. You can see that Rare Adam were like, look, we have the Chem Tech Soul. This thing is so broken, we can just march mid and they can't win a fight. And then they kind of realize, oh wait,
wait, never mind. They're Gwen and Tryndamere in the late game.
Yeah, we lost like 80% of the fights this game because we just ran at them. Why don't we, maybe that isn't the solution. So we'll slow things down a bit. Top Esports have some life.
They have options.
Yeah.
They have options. Like, again, this is the thing. We are late enough into the game. It's coming up to 35 minutes. These death timers are significant. And just to make sure you're also aware, your death timer doesn't start counting until after the Chem Baron soul has taken after its effect. So when you respawn and then you die, that's when the timer starts going down. So it's a little bit of an extra kind of setup for you if you're able to get those kills. So it's not as clear-cut here for Rare Adam, and with the Ziggs, you have so much wave clear. Actually, everyone on the side of Top Esports has so much wave clear. Honestly, I think they're going to have to wait for Elder, and even then, I don't even know if it's that clear-cut.
Yeah, things are still very much the knife edge. The thing is, we had that fight that Rare Adam won, and it was kind of because they were able to land the poke. Top Esports weren't able to get on them initially, And then they have really strong scaling carries, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, Corki and the Kite in particular scale just so incredibly well. But it just depends how they play out. It's not clear-cut at this point. The Chemtech Soul just put things heavily in RA's favor. But at the end of the day, like, if Zorah gets caught out and dies, and then dies again, it doesn't matter if he has the Chemtech Soul, right?
You see this poke doing less and less the longer this game goes on. Tian getting tanky, has himself the Sterex, the GA. There is a ward, and they may look to try and just go in on top of this, but they have no inhibitors just yet, so it would have to be the inhibitor and the Nexus. You would need a lot of time in order to take down both those. So, honestly, like,
I love it, but oh my lord, it'd be such a flip.
It's such a flip, but it's honestly, like, you double TP people in, you need to make sure that you're going to be drawing the rest of Top Esports. Basically, as long as Top Esports are beyond the halfway point of the river, that's where you have an opportunity. But you can see them pinging it. They're looking for it.
Chemtech's so broken for backdoors because not only do you, like, if you're trying to kill the Nexus, if they kill you, they have to kill you again. But also, if you're trying to stop them from recalling, it's so annoying. Like, you know, you have a Leona who's trying to stop your recalls, you kill her, and then she's still stopping you from recalling. It's really infuriating. Well, so we'll see. That control ward's still there. Spectators keep looking over at it.
I mean, honestly, they're waiting as much as we are. We can see the pings. Look at the pings on the map. They're saying, go for these two objectives. We need to try and get something. I will say Knight and Zoom are hovering around, so they know that something is up. Minute until Baron spawns. That will be the third of the game for Rare Adam if they are able to get it. Rare Adam now pushing into mid, just keeping their lanes in order. They still have a tier 2 on bot side, which they haven't taken, and the poke isn't doing as much as I mentioned earlier. There is a stopwatch onto Cube as well. Very important to notice. They actually have an Oblivion Orb as well on the Strife, so he's looking just to try and get the healing reduction down. I actually quite like that pickup from him. Not a lot of healing reduction available to anybody, really, on the side of Rare Adam. And again, you got to keep resetting if you're Top Esports. You can't leave your base. It's so difficult.
Yeah, I think, you know, Rare Adam are trying to clear out vision as well as they can, because death threat comes from them being in the fog of war, right? If you can't see Cube and Strive, that is the issue. So by clearing out the vision, set themselves up, don't allow any, you know, potential flanks to come in from Zoom or whatever. They're playing for this Baron, and they want Top Esports to pull out of the base. They want them to pull away so they can potentially threaten the back door, or so they can win a fight. But either way, Strive moving down. He's going to grab the blue buff. He still has the control ward. He can still TP in. It's good.
There we go.
They're both
there we go. They're going to double TP in. They're going to go for it. They're going to pull the bluff. And now it's just about keeping everyone from recalling. Like you mentioned, here we go. Knight has gotten himself back. They're going to be able to get him all the way down. Now he has no undying rage. He's going to try and chunk them all out, but I don't think he can do it. I think RA are going to take it. I think RA with the backdoor double TP 2-0 over Top Esports.
Oh my lord, what a game, what a backdoor. They were waiting so long for the opportunity. They instantly pulled the trigger. The Chemtech Soul's there to guarantee they'd be able to take it down, even if they did manage to kill them. Oh, I didn't expect this. I'm just going to flip straight out and say it. Top Esports coming off a Demacia Cup win. And Rare Adam didn't even make it out of groups. Didn't even beat another team in the LPL. They lost to IG and LGD, and then they come out with a stormer in this one.
What a way to start your season. Not only do you get such a pivotal victory in such a fantastic way, but you do it against Top Esports, a team that a lot of people, myself included, will be like top 4 in the league. This is a massive scalp for RA, and the greatest thing is that you don't have to play them again for until minimum playoffs. You've gotten your scalp. You can move forward and saying, look, we played well, we played smart, we got the W.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, game 1, really intelligent. Leyan on the Rek'Sai, instrumental. This game too, it was just hectic, but Top Esports had the advantage for a significant amount of time. They kept finding those team fights, but the scaling was there from that Kaiser Corki. And then just some great decisions, right? Laying down the poke to set up the fight. On top of that, the backdoor. You know, I was so worried when they got the Nexus to 80 HP, they would have a situation where they ended up losing from there. It would have been so devastating, but the fact they found the window back in, they managed to get that Chemtech Soul, just RA really holding strong, considering, you know, Zorah in particular I want to mention, because I didn't have super high expectations from him. The confidence he showed on the LPL stage, going from LDL to just flashing on cooldown, making things happen. Doesn't care about KDA, only cares about getting the win.
Yeah, that was, like, I think the unsung carry of this will be Zorah in this particular game, because he just sacrificed himself over and over and over again to say, look, I will die, but if everyone else gets out, or even only 3 people get out, that's a win for me. And even around that Baron fight, the one where Leyan ended up dying and they only got 2 Baron buffs out of it,
he still did everything he needed to do. And despite JackeyLove topping the damage charts, despite them looking like Knight and Zoom, look at that just roller coaster of a gold graph. It's just insane how much top esports were able to ring back into their favor despite everything going against them.
I love that massive diff. It looks like a bungee jump.
It does. Like, whoa!
Yeah, man. What a mad one. What an absolute mad game, honestly. And, you know, it wasn't decisive. Game 1 was a bit more so, but this game 2 was messy. And often that can be when veterancy comes out ahead, right? You know, when you have these messy games where you can't really practice too well for them, because how often do you have these situations? But really, RA were on point. Absolutely on point. So credit to them, and a well-deserved win and a great start, as you said, to the season.
Yeah, really, really positive start here for RA. And for top esports, this is worrying. It's only the start of the split. I don't want to put any too much, you know, weight onto these kind of things, but this is a team.
17th place already?
Yeah. Oof, oof. But this is a team that, for all intents and purposes, should be, you know, for lack of a better term, clapping a lot of these lower end teams. This shouldn't even be a question mark. These kind of games should be reserved for the EDGs, the RNGs, you know, hell, even the FBXs and the BLGs. So to see them struggle so much in this series against a team like RA, and again, no disrespect to RA, these players are here for a reason, but it's going to be very, very curious. But we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to have